So today we thought we would do things a little differently and shift from some of the hardcore political themes.
All right.
And consider politics and social issues from a slightly different angle, that being the angle of comedy and entertainment. Today we're joined by a person called Dexmond, although he spells it in quite an interesting way, you would have noticed if you clicked this episode, who is an up-and-coming comedian who's actually quite well known in some, permit me to say, alternative comedy spaces, particularly in Lagos, but I think across Nigeria and the world increasingly. And he has an upcoming special that folks should check out, and we'll, try to include some information about that in the description. So we're talking to him about that, but also about his wider reflections on comedy, entertainment, and the role of comedy and entertainment in social issues and development and such. So, Dexmond, thank you for joining us. We're really happy to have you.
Man. First of all, let me start by saying, man, I am more than honored. If there's a word higher than honor, I'm more than honored to be part of this, because ever since Dami Aderemi put me onto the Nigerian Scam podcast, I've been a fan for the longest. Like, you guys really do the stuff that I want to listen to. So this is like my greatest pastime activity so far since I've been put onto it. So I want to say thank you very much for giving me this privilege to share this time with you guys, man.
Oh, man. You're welcome. And thank you for that fantastic feedback. Obviously, we will send you the money we promised to send once you, once you gave us.
I'm waiting for the money, man.
So, yeah, you just have to send us your credit card details.
Oh, my God.
So, yeah.
The Nigerian scam, indeed.
So, listen, it would be good to start off by hearing a bit about you and, your background. Maybe, yes, it's hard to boil that into any kind of quick summary, but perhaps if you could tell us a bit about how you got into comedy, how you convinced your parents that this was a worthwhile career option.
Actually. So I've been doing stand-up from as young as 12 years old. I started doing stand-up in high school. My dad was present in one of the talent hunts, so I didn't have to convince him. He watched me on stage for the first time. Yeah, and he was even asked to come on stage, like, this boy Papa Day. Like, so I think that moment for us, the moment we shared together on stage that day, was like a go ahead for me. Like, okay, you're really good at this, so why don't you just keep up with it? So my dad has been like present in most of my live performances. My mom yet to see any of my show. And I think when you watch this special, you get to know the kind of relationship I have with both parents. My mom is like, she's never in supporting anything I do. So yeah, I've been doing stand-up for quite a while, man. I've been doing stand-up comedy for as long as I can remember. I don't think I've done any other thing in my life to like earn money apart from stand-up comedy. So getting to this stage, it's a stage where I think, like, okay, I've done this thing enough to like know the niche I want to carve for myself. Like, say, this is what I want to do with my art. I'm really proud of that maturity I can finally find in my art form, because stand-up comedy, like, not to say it for saying sake, man, it means the world to me. I feel like it's the purest. I don't know if that makes sense to you. I think it's the purest art form there is in this world, man, because it allows you to humorously tell your experience. And there is a quote, I can't remember who said the quote now, but I think there's a quote that says, if you want to tell, I think it's Albert Camus, or Oscar Wilde, I can't remember. One of the two said, if you want to tell people the truth, make them laugh first or they'll kill you. Nice. So I think since I have humor as a tool for the longest, I think this is like, I've gotten to a part of my life where I've noticed a lot of things, and I think I'm mature enough to talk about them humorously. So that's as far as comedy has gone for me.
Amazing. We definitely agree with that sentiment, even though we have mixed results in attaining humor in our competition. But no, that's a really helpful background. And I mean, it leads to a second big question we wanted to ask you, which is about the stand-up scene in general, particularly in Nigeria. I think a lot of people familiar with comedy in Nigeria would often think more of like comedy sketches, the sort of TikTok comedy thing, or like comedy movies. Of course, like a recent example was the Funke Akindele.
Yeah, Funke Akindele.
Yeah, that's like one of the biggest grossing films in Nollywood history, maybe the biggest grossing film in Nollywood history.
The biggest, actually. He made #1 billion.
Yes, which is
crazy money. That's crazy.
Of course, it's the kind of money we expect to make in this podcast, but hasn't happened yet. We're not far from that. But anyway, yeah. So those are the kinds of. I think probably for a lot of people, that's what they think about when they think about comedy. But yeah, is there much of a stand-up scene really? And like, why stand-up rather than say, sketches or film or that sort of thing? I just wonder how you address that issue.
The thing is, it's a generational thing. And if I'm permitted to give you guys like a brief history lesson.
Oh, yeah, please.
All right. So stand-up comedy in Nigeria, like in the early 2000s, in the 99s, late 99, early 2000, stand-up comedy was by far the most productive industry in Nigeria. I don't know if you remember the Night of 1,000 Laughs.
Yeah,
definitely.
CDs back then. I don't know if you grew up here. Did you grow up here?
Yeah, I know Night of 1,000 Laughs.
Okay. I definitely watched.
Yeah, so the Night of 1,000 Laughs CDs, early 2000 till 2010 was selling like wildfire. That was the thing at that time for that generation. And that was the generation I was exposed to comedy in. Right. So a quick background story. My dad always used to come home with a Night of 1,000 Laughs CD to apologize to my mom. That was his way of apologizing if they had a quarrel. So whenever you see Dad coming home with a Night of 1,000 Laughs CD, you know that he's saying, I'm sorry. That's his I'm sorry.
I'm taking
to my mom. So my mom was like a fan of the Night of 1,000 Laughs CDs. We used to enjoy it. In fact, not just my mom, the entire compound used to come into our room to watch Night of 1,000 Laughs on a sunny afternoon or a late sunset evening. So I'm growing up on TV like that. I nudged towards the art form. I began to find a certain kind of meaning for it. I enjoyed it more than any other person. I like to feel that way because even when the Night of 1,000 Laughs industry was kind of going down and it became Stand Up Nigeria. I don't know if you've heard of Stand Up Nigeria, the Bumi Davis production.
I missed that.
Yeah, so when Stand Up Nigeria used to come on TV for like an hour at that time, if I'm playing outside, my mom will literally call me and be like, "That thing where you like." She didn't even call it stand-up comedy. She didn't know it was stand-up comedy on anything. So she used to say, "That thing where you like the show for TV." So that's how much I was inclined towards stand-up comedy as a child. I didn't necessarily understand the jokes. I can't even explain to you why I like it. So I didn't necessarily understand the jokes, but there was something about these guys standing on stage and saying all of the nonsense they wanted to say, nonsense in quotes. So that generation, everything changed when we got to, I think everything got digitalized at a certain point in time.
Yeah.
Like all of a sudden it was the digital market and stand-up comedy was like the last to catch up on it. Nollywood is currently catching up on it. Shout out to the Kule Afolayo and the Kemi Adetibas and the Fuke Akindeles you mentioned. Same thing with the music industry when the streaming platform came, but comedy was kind of lagging behind because you're not going to blame them. Stand-up comedy is a traditional theater art form. Yeah, it's very traditional and is meant to be performed on stage. So I think the industry didn't think there was a need to, digitalize because it's a very traditional art form. It has to be performed on stage. We didn't know that there was something like you could actually record yourself live on stage and sell it to millions of people across the world that weren't even present at the show. You still have to record on stage, not denying the stage importance of it, but then you could still digitalize and do the traditional art form and still make it digital. But our industry was slow to come into the digital phase. And this generation, the Gen Z generation, they deal with anything that is, digital, that is internet-based, that is in their faces. So when the skit makers began to do that, when they were, putting out content every day on every digital platform you can find, on every social media platform you can find, I think that was when everybody kind of nudged towards them. They became like the comedian's comedian. So when you ask a young person, now who's your favorite comedian, they are quick to mention a skit maker, which breaks the heart of every stand-up comedian, by the way.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Because we don't necessarily see skit as comedy. We see it as acting. But then comedy is broad. So we're starting to give them their respect now because, they are doing well for themselves. But that's what we are trying to do now. We are trying to actually digitalize. I think the digital industry has gone far ahead of us, but then it's stand-up comedy, man. It's the holy grail of art. If we can put in all of the good work, I think we can catch up and make it that, shiny industry it once was.
Very interesting response, man. And I think it kind of aligns with the historical timeline that we have been playing with a lot in this show. How Nigerian society has evolved since the 90s and 2000s.
I told you I was a fan. I did on my expo.
No. Nice. You've done your homework. No, for sure. And like the privatization of Nitel and the rise of the middle class and stuff seems like it has really benefited, amongst other industries, the skit making industry. But then I wonder, like, and maybe this will be my last question before I hand off to others. Like, I wonder where you think the traditional form of stand up. Okay, maybe it's two questions. Maybe one is like, do you feel like the traditional form of stand up should survive or will survive in the context of Nigeria? And like, relatedly, is there still an audience for that kind of Night of a Thousand Laughs style, or even more intimate, like more kind of small venue types of stand up? And I guess I ask this because I feel that that kind of on-stage stand-up seems to have the potential to be more social than the skit watching that you do in your bedroom alone on your phone, right? You're laughing with a group of people. Obviously, there's the comment section that you can use to engage with human beings or bots when you consume comedy on your phone. But like, that seems quite different from the kind of sociality that's possible in a room of people, even an intimate room, but even a large room to some extent, like that are watching an experience and kind of engaging with it in real time. So maybe I'm a bit of a romantic for the old stuff as well. Like maybe I'm,
No, not at all.
But yeah, I guess I wonder, like, do you think it can survive in this current era? And like, yeah, I just wonder what your general thoughts are on the future, I guess, of stand-up.
This is a very beautiful question because it's as if you want me to let some of my cats out of the bag. I have a second recording I'm working on after Servant of the Most High drop. I'm actually writing a second special. I've had dummies on my side now, so the financial capacity to do anything is like I have the financial freedom. So I'm trying to put out I'm trying to put out as much content as I can. He tells me that okay, I can no longer afford this. So before he says that,
nice. Run with it.
The sentiment I'm working with is I have something that I wrote down. Was it last week? The visual society can never replace society. Now, you ask a question if the traditional art form of stand-up can survive. I don't want to say yes or no because a lot of that answer will be based on sentiment. Of course, I want it to survive because I'm a stand-up comedian, but this is what I'm going to say. We are a community. Human beings, we need another human. We need to have that level of human social interaction once in a while. I'm telling you this today, man. It might sound sentimental, but I'm telling you, there's no better human interaction in any other art form than in stand-up comedy. We get to see ourselves from a stand-up comedian perspective. We get to laugh at ourselves. What laughter does, it's like when you go to a therapist, they tell you to bring down the wall before you start sharing your problems with them. So laughter, it doesn't tell you to bring down the wall. It brings down the wall for you. When you are laughing at something, you're already into it.
Yeah.
It's an emotion you can't fake. It's not like orgasm.
I see your point. Yeah.
So laughter is a very genuine emotion.
Right.
And to have a people in a room laughing at the same thing together is a feeling that, man, the world needs.
Yeah.
The reason we're even saying if stand-up comedy is going to survive this era, if it's not going to survive this era, is because we have not done enough stand-up comedy for this new generation. Yeah. And I'm going to defend that right now. The industry over the years, according to me, and I don't mean no disrespect to the OGs, have been haphazard, man. The younger generation cannot see themselves in it. They don't have a feel of it here. They don't feel represented. That's the word I'm looking for. They don't feel represented enough when the stand-up comedian is on stage, We have some regular perspective of our jokes. I don't know if you've heard a lot of comedians talk about Army slapping somebody and all of that.
Yeah.
So that's basically the kind of jokes they are hearing from stand-up comedy. So Army has not slapped any of them yet. They were not born during the military rule or any of. So yeah, they don't feel represented enough. They don't feel seen enough. That's why they keep kind of nudging towards this skit making industry. I'm saying If you can show a person himself, there's no way they are not going to, look at themselves. If you can actually talk to them about issues, if you can bring the issues that bother them to your stage, if you can welcome them into their world through your platform. I don't know if that makes sense to you. You're trying to welcome these people into their world with your platform and say, yeah, I see you too. I understand what you're going through. Let's laugh at it together. It bothers me too. There's no way that is not going to survive. It's like asking, since there are hospitals everywhere in the world, are traditional medicine going to keep thriving? Of course, they have their market. Man, they get some disease where go do you. Tetracycline no go save you. They need grand better agbo for you. You need drink agbo.
Too bad for OAG.
So that
access agbo right now.
Yeah, that one, if we work that one out, it's really shipment, don't they?
So asking if it's going to survive, it's the reason why that is even a question is because we have not actually talked to this generation enough. Right. Don't worry, we'll have this conversation again when we start talking to this generation in the language they understand.
Nice.
Ooh, that sounds like a threat.
It does, yeah.
Boy, stress. Yeah, it's really good listening to you and trying to follow through your history and evolution. And it's unique, your view and how you look at comedy. Largely, we like to stay a bit more grounded on the political aspects and try to see the intersectionality of how politics and, our life, everything, how it all comes together. And for our own line of thinking, a revolutionary way of seeing things, like we have, a materialist theory, a way of interpreting and looking at society and the evolution of society generally is that, we have ruling classes in society, people that, are in control of everything in terms of the wealth and how, the economic activity of the country. And doing so, their power extends to what we call the superstructure of the society, because what they control is the base. And the base then has like an impact on the superstructure of society. So the superstructure of society will include, entertainment, the media, religion, comedy, everything that is not, that is not having to do with business and control of the world. Now, we are seeing that, comedy being one of these superstructure of society, we are starting to kind of maybe, and this is my own view, that maybe the ruling class have conquered that space, because you're seeing a lack of political commentary and a lack of, revolutionary or conscious comedic content, wherein comedians don't talk so much about how to have a fundamental change in society, how to change the way things are. What you rather see is them talking about maybe women, praising people that have money, making fun of poor people, and people that, that don't stay on the island, and all these mainland island wars. So what do you think? Like, do you think
is there someone you have in mind? Maybe someone whose dad is a lawyer, or is it?
There was one funny skit that I saw where someone was going around with the microphone and saying my island or mainland. That's type of bullshit that they're on about. But I don't know who the person behind the camera was. But they were interviewing all these other comedians and some other people like that. But just to say, like, do you think comedy is a superstructure of society that has been captured by the ruling class, such that we don't have any form of serious political discourse challenging these people and pushing them like strongly for a change? Do you think it's a conquered space? And if you think it's a conquered space or not, what do you think can be done to rectify or make comedy serve its value in terms of educating people through humor and, like helping them to see through laughter?
This is another very beautiful question, man. You guys go hard. I must commend that. So I don't know how much you listen to Seun Kuti. Do you know Seun Kuti, the son of Fela Kuti?
I know Seun.
You laugh when you mention Seun.
Asking the right question.
No, you asked the right person that question. Yeah.
So the thing is, Seun has actually mentioned all of these things in his numerous live videos he does on Instagram. So, but let me not give you Seun answer. Let me give you mine answer. Have you read George Orwell 1984 book?
Yeah.
So George actually mentioned this thing when the Big Brother was controlling oh my God, I think I've forgotten the name of the society now they were in. But when Big Brother was controlling that society, they actually attacked a lot of superstructure that you're mentioning. Now, let's bring that to the Nigerian community. It's not just comedy. Every art form has been watered down.
Mm.
I agree.
Every art form in our society has been watered down. And when you guys, the revolutionaries, talk about, the elite class, the power class, they are conquering. People usually think of conquering like in a war, like they are coming to your house to tell you, hey, don't watch this again, don't do this again. No, that's not true. The media plays a very important role in our imagination. The media kind of tells us what to think and what not to think. People don't understand how powerful the media is. I don't think we understand how powerful the media is. And I'll bring that back to a recent interview that happened on Arise TV. The Minister of Works, I don't know if you saw that video, it went viral. The Minister of Works, and David Umahi, was trying to dodge a question that was asked by an Arise TV reporter. I don't know if you know her. She's this lady with a foreign accent.
Yeah, right.
So he was trying to dodge the question. And instead of him to just go, I don't want to answer this question because of so and so, he was attacking her accent. He was saying, I know the year for now. He got everybody in the room laughing. And so a question did not carry the needed power that she was intending for it.
It did. Even it did. Yeah, it did. Even more forcefully.
No, but then he has successfully, made some people in the room kind of, laugh, and now he's on their side. That's what I'm saying. Laughter is a tool that is very important. It's a very powerful tool. He has made some people in the room laugh at that. I don't understand your accent to auntie. She kept on. She was very professional with it. She kept on going with it. And then he kind of, if he was silent and let her ask the question openly, the question would have gotten the needed momentum and intention for him to, kind of be put on the spotlight. But, he used humor to divert back to the question of watering down art form. That there is a perfect metaphor to what is going on. I don't know if you're a big fan of conspiracy theories. I don't know if you're a big fan of controversy.
Oh, no.
Have you ever noticed that when a politician steals money, like this Lagos Calabar Coastal Road now, it was making news. All of a sudden, Whiskey and Davido are fighting on Twitter. Have you ever noticed when there's an important development that we all need to, when fuel became 1,000 naira per liter, when the scarcity started to happen, when Dangote was saying like these distributors are not going to buy my fuel because I want to start selling it cheaper, when important societal issues are starting to take front page in newspapers, when they are starting to take main stage on blogs, all of a sudden Whiskey and Davido are fighting.
Yeah.
But why do you think that the Lagos Calabar highway is more important than having whiskey?
No.
Why do I think the Lagos Calabar Coastal Road is way more important than Whiskey than Davido beef? Okay, fine.
It's an honest question. Don't mind Said.
No, I like the question, man. This is why I feel that way. The Lagos Calabar Road has more effect on us as a people. Now, the landmark industry, the landmark organization was destroyed. The beach was demolished to the ground level. This is, first of all, already putting people to an already saturated labor market. The unemployment rate that is even going to cause has heightened already. And this was not like a 5 years bargain that they told these people we are going to come and destroy this place, so start looking for jobs. No, you are throwing these people into an unprecedented situation that they don't even have enough. Nigeria is not a country with structure where you can bank on your credit scores to, get yourself through perilous times. No, this is not the kind of country. At least 70% of our working class people still do from hand to mouth kind of society thing. Now you are throwing at least if I'm counting, let's count everybody walking on that landmark beach. I go to the good beach a lot. What about the boys selling weed there? Right. Who are they going to sell their weed to?
They might have to relocate to Calabar to meet some of us.
You see that we're coming back to my because if they had started the Lagos Calabar Coastal Highway, if they started it from Calabar, then Said's suggestion holds, some. But I think the problem is that they're starting it from Lagos. That's where the problem is.
No, they are playing the ethnic card. Some people are saying, okay, the landmark CEO is an Igbo man, as always. They are playing the ethnic card now on social media. But I think it's more than an ethnic divide kind of thing. I think something deeper is going there. You and I know how slow we are when it comes to infrastructure development in this country. Right. Nigeria might just be the slowest when it comes to seeing a project to an end in this country. Now you are starting probably a 20 years project, and you are starting from the economic capital of the state. You are starting from the financial hub of the state. You are starting from Lagos. Something you could have started from Calabar and is not going to shake anybody. Like, I know our friend that is in Calabar now, I know his network has been disturbing. So even there, they cannot even tweet.
You
Can't even tweet if you are destroying if you are destroying infrastructures, they can't tweet, man. Now
You know
you're
what,
starting
but-
such a
No. I mean, yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there. And this Lagos Calabar Expressway is definitely something we'll come back to. And as a matter of fact, we might bring you back on to reflect on these issues, given your insights on them. But I was quite struck by what you were saying. I mean, okay, the conspiracy aspect in terms of comedy as distraction, but even the less conspiratorially minded will be aware of how, in a way, like the comedy industry really often does have to bend to the whims and caprices of those in power, such that, there was a whole point in time, I don't know if this is still the case, where like a lot of the comedians, a lot of how they made money doing stand-up is like at the birthday party of some politician or at the inauguration of some politician.
still,
Do you know what I mean?
number one way,
Still, right. So, in that context, to sort of maybe return to Oiji's question in some ways, because I'm still curious about that. Like, do you feel like there's space for comedy to challenge that structure at all? And like, or is it asking too much in some ways? Because, in other climes, let me say, not say saner climes, the debate at the moment somehow seems to be that comedians are being asked too much to represent the political sides in the debate. So there's the wokeness, anti-wokeness thing. Like comedians, why woke people clipping our wings and making us having to talk, have to speak in a sense in political terms rather than to address human issues. But in our side, in a way, we maybe are posing the opposite question, like, shouldn't comedians be speaking more about politics? So I wonder how you navigate that. I mean, do they have some obligation? Do you have some obligation, you reckon, to these social issues?
So asking the question of, is there a way, can this power outfits be challenged? The answer is yes. And by the way, I think stand-up comedy is an art form that actually gives you the license to tackle these issues. Back to the quote I started with, if you want to tell people the truth, you have to make them laugh or they are going to kill you.
Right.
Now you have humor as your base to say anything you want to say. Why waste it on a less important issue? This is my personal view. I'm not saying every comedian should adopt this view. This is the view I live by, the mantra that actually guides my comedy. Why waste this rare gift? Because I see it as a rare gift, actually. Why waste this rare gift on, mundane things, on things that 2 years, 3 years from now would not be important? Back to the Lagos Calabar Coastal Road. Whiskey, Davido, Max. I'm not wishing them bad or anything, but Whiskey, Davido, Max, they won't last for another 20 years. This is a project that is going to last probably a lifetime. The landmark beach is gone, and it's gone for good, man. It's gone with a lot of memories, a lot of jobs, a lot of, I know what I used to do at the good beach. And like, I'm personally pained by this. This is affecting me personally. The good beach used to be like my quiet place on Mondays where I just go, roll 2 blunt and I'm writing. And now I can't get that feel anymore because someone somewhere is trying to do something to it. So back to the question before I deviate again, I'm very sorry. The thing is, yes, we are obligated to stand for something. We need to awaken the political consciousness of our people because we need it. We need them to be politically conscious enough to see all of the shenanigans going on in our country.
You finally made Luigi smile today, but yeah.
I saw the entire PVC thing they did during this last presidential election, where they had to do concerts to get people to get their PVC. Yeah, all these kit makers had to, like, they were actually influencing Nigerian youth to get their PVC.
Right.
Do you understand how much of a craziness that is? That you are begging a people to get their PVC for an election that affects them. That is to show you how much their political consciousness has been asleep. for people to still go around telling you to get your PVC, that is crazy. So I feel now like since we have a platform like stand-up comedy that can address this issue directly and humorously and get away with it, why don't we use this as a challenge upon ourselves to say, okay, I want to be, because that's what I want to be. I want to be a comedian in my generation. Yes, from now where they'll be like, when the revolution started, Desmond was talking. Yeah, I want that. I want
the episode right there, brother.
yeah, man, I really want that to be like an attachment to any legacy I leave behind, to any kind of comedy I do, to the amount of special I drop. I want to let these people know that, come on, enough with all this Afrobeat argument. I'm not saying don't enjoy your entertainment. Of course, you can enjoy your entertainment, but we are in a country now, since we are all inclined towards entertainment, we have the largest consumers of entertainment, maybe in Africa, if not the world. Why don't we use this tool that these people are already engaged in to actually with their political consciousness? Yes, it's an obligation for us. We should be doing that.
Nice one. Well, that makes a lot of sense to me. Now, here's a follow-up to that. While OAG is warming up in the interim, I was thinking that now, Desmond, do you feel like there's such a thing as too much in terms of like the political standards or the standards of socio-political commentary that people hold entertainers and comedians included to? In other words, like, do you buy the take that some comedians have, particularly like in the US and in the West, that like, look, our job is not to pander to the dominant or even minority political standpoint, but just to tell jokes? I mean, I know you've kind of rejected that in your response, but I suppose where do you draw the line? Because, isn't there a risk that, you become basically a party spokesperson, even if that party is a minority or fringe party?
This is a very difficult question. We'll be careful not to mix ourselves with the West. The Western world is a different world entirely.
Okay.
I mean, I've not lived there, so I cannot comment on it with 100% viewpoint. But I listen to a lot of them. I have my favorites from that side, and the likes of David Chappelle, Chris Rock, Trevor Noah, they are doing the political commentary. And yes, I don't think you as an audience, you're trying to dictate what a comedian is going to talk about. If you as an audience is saying you have to talk about our political blah, 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 it's never fair to an artist when the audience start dictating what you talk about.
Right.
Because you are not the artist here. You don't know what the artist is feeling at a certain point of time. Art has to be authentic. And authenticity comes from a place of truth. It comes from an artist's truth. So if an artist is saying, man, I don't feel obligated to talk about these things. I want to talk about these modern things in America. I want to talk about this other thing. Don't make me a political analyzer on stage. I think he has the right to say so. He is the artist, if you look at it. So he has every right to say, I don't want to talk about this.
Yeah.
That is fair to that. But now it brings us back to our African society, our Nigerian society. Fela said something. Fela Nicola Kuti, he said something. He said, music cannot be for enjoyment now. That's what Fela said when he started the Get the Sax movement. When he used to hold the sax as a rifle, he said music cannot be for enjoyment now. Not when my people are still suffering, not when my people are not awakening to the exploitation and the control that this elite has on them. Music cannot be for enjoyment now. So I think I hold that sentiment too. This is our African society. I don't know if you've seen the genocide going on in Congo. I was reading about it here today, man. Yeah, the killings going on in Congo, the exploitation by the world industrial society, trying to mine all of the gold and diamonds in Congo, and it has resulted to another civil war where at least at yesterday, 500 women were killed yesterday. These things bother me. I want to do an African tour where I can address these issues because these are the issues that actually bother me now. So maybe I'm saying we all have to be a revolutionary because I want to be. So I'll be careful to speak for myself. I mean, it bothers me enough. So when I'm speaking about these issues, it's coming from an authentic place. I'm actually speaking from an authentic place. But when another artist say, man, it's too political, I don't want to get into that part of the water, I understand that too. And professional courtesy, I'm saying, yeah, talk about what you want to talk about, man. Talk about what you want to talk about.
No, I respect that because it sounds like, you really do try to balance some element of like artistic freedom, right?
Yeah. Every artist should have that poetic license to,
Right.
go where you want to go, say what you want to say.
Right. So let me throw open the floor. I mean, I have a couple more questions, but does anybody else want to chime in?
Not much that I want to say there, but I just feel that, from my own standpoint, that comedians, there's a lot of gap for them to do a bit more, because you see someone like Agodai or all these comedians talking, and you have these dignitaries right in front of them. It creates a certain gap for them to sort of creatively sneak their message across, or maybe do a bit more. If they've been doing it, maybe do a bit more so that, they will know that people are getting a bit more conscious and all. So I just feel like maybe for you as a person that you're already sort of conscious to all these things, to just apply more pressure. It's more like an encouragement anyway. Yeah, nothing more than that. Just in a creative manner, because we still understand that the oppressive society can move crazy if they don't feel like they like what you're doing. So you have to be careful with that. So anyway.
Word up. Speaking of oppression, I think you've made Emeka really shy with his bad connection. He keeps dropping in and out, and hasn't posed any question. But Desmond, if I could switch gears a little bit before we wrap up, one of the issues that has really preoccupied us in this episode, in this podcast in general, and you can kind of tell by the name we've chosen, is the issue of the Yahoo phenomenon or internet fraud. Or what have you.
You want to chase away my sponsors.
Obviously, they're part of how we are also able to operate. So, we have to keep our criticisms of them to minimum. But we've pondered various explanations for the emergence and durability of this phenomenon. But I wonder what your own reflections might be. There's so many angles to look at that issue from. I don't want to prescribe any. So I just wonder, what are your thoughts about the Yahoo phenomenon in general?
Listen, first of all, I don't know if you know, but let me just put it out there. Edo State, Benin City,
right?
So let me correlate what I'm trying to say. Currently in Edo State, we have just 4 9-to-5 workers. They're my Yahoo. The entire state. So if you want to ask me about Yahoo, I think my answer is going to be broad, because first of all, I'll have to attack my brothers. Yes, so this is like a family issue for me. When you're attacking someone on social media, I'll be like, no, let's settle this out. This is a very sensitive topic for me. But then
like, why don't we have a phone call to discuss this rather than in public? Right.
This is a very sensitive topic for me. So, but I'll try as much as possible to, say my honest opinion about it. It's a two-way thing. The emergence of Yahoo, and I don't know if you've ever seen the importance of it. Have you ever thought about the importance of Yahoo in our society?
I know, yeah. There's no escaping the fact that a lot of these guys are the only breadwinners in their family, or that.
Man,
it's a lot of the informal economy going in many places. So we can't really run away from that. That's true.
I was in Edo State last month for a burial ceremony, and the hotel room I was booked in was fully booked. Now, this is not a festive period. There was no festivity going on at that time. But the hotel I was in, I'm telling you, April 14th, nothing is happening that day. But a hotel is fully booked. And who are the people doing this? It's the Yahoo boys. Yeah. They are pushing the economy of the state. Now, usually, growing up in Edo State, I know how much of a violence that used to happen during our election period, especially the gubernatorial elections. So these youths who are now Yahoo boys were used by politicians as political thugs at that time, because they didn't have anything better to do with their time, and they needed that kind of incentive, to go ahead and cause crime. But now, I'm telling you categorically, Edo State might be one of the safest places to be now in Nigeria. I was moving at 2 a.m. in the morning with my friends in Edo State, and I've never dreamt of moving 10 p.m. in Edo State. Back then when I was there. Yes, now 2 a.m. everybody is moving freely in Edo State, because nobody wants to kill you. Nobody knows if you are the one with the paying client. So Yeah, nobody wants to kill anybody. They don't know. Nobody knows the person client where they pay now. So everybody is just careful with one another. We all want you to live long. Like everybody wants you to live long. Nobody knows if your mother is the right one for us now. So
Right.
the thing is, I cannot even from a very personal angle. If internet fraud is a crime,
Right.
Yahoo is a crime, yes. But you can actually pass on some crimes, man. And there was, you remember there was a time where slavery was legal.
Mm.
There was a time where slavery.
but arguably, that's a bad example of leaving something to be legal. Quite destructive.
Yeah, so I'm not saying make it legal.
Right.
I'm not saying make it legal. I'm saying some of these guys should be given a pass.
Yeah, right.
Like give them a pass, man. Give them a pass. They are doing wonders for, especially my Edo State economy.
Right.
I feel safer when I'm in Edo State now. I'm not supporting it, but I'm not condoning. But
Yeah.
I actually do understand. I understand why it's like the new way for everybody now. Man, bills have to be paid, and these guys are saying a less violent criminal way. If that's the thing, is actually less violent.
Right. Right.
No much blood. Is laptop work. In winner boys, that's what they call them in Edo State. Let me give you a new name. They call them in winner boys.
In winner boys. As
in winner in Edo State means walking. It means walking. That's walking boys.
Interesting. So they are the working class, as it were.
Yeah, they are the working class.
In the digital age.
As the working class. Yes, I see them as the working class, actually. So they're called Iwina boys.
Amazing. Amazing. Well, yeah, and like they support the economy, they support some podcasts. So, yeah, there's only a limited amount we can
wait, you said they support some podcasts.
I won't be specific about which ones.
Again, my brother. That's news to me.
You said they support some podcasts.
Yeah. But let's not dwell too long on that. No, but I get what you're saying. I mean, you're not taking a Robin Hood view that they're somehow, heroes. But I think you're also saying that if there's no alternative, and if actually they're being redistributed from other more violent forms of crime to this, then
it's like say when you have the choice between the devil and the deep Red Sea, and someone is giving you a lifeguard to jump into the deep Red Sea, so you'd be like, okay, I'm going to choose
Red Sea, man.
Because I have a lifeguard with me now. That kind of thing.
Yeah, no, I hear you. Look, we've had you for quite a while. I mean, I'm conscious of everyone's time, so I suppose we should let you go. But I mean, maybe one more question pertains to your own comedy special. So yes, I know it's in production, and of course, you can't tease everything about it at this stage in time. But is there anything you want us to know about it, or you want the audience to know about it, even if it's just around where to find it when it's out? But if you could give us some sneak peeks into the kinds of themes or topics you're going to engage in, that would also be.
The comedy special actually is my debut, so I'm really excited about it. And the topics I actually address are not topics that people say, okay, you need to address, you need to know. They are very authentic issues that have been bothering me since I was born. Religion being the central theme. I come from a very heterogeneous religious household. My mom is like a diehard Christian. My dad is not. So that kind of vibe. So I've actually seen two sides of religion. I'm not like a believer, but at the same time, I'm not an atheist. I'm kind of agnostic about my faith, but I'm not trying to, discredit Christianity or the other type of religion. I'm just saying if we can practice our faith in balance with, humanity, if we can actually put faith into logical reasoning and let everything go illogically on as it has always been, that's what I'm saying. So I'm really proud of the work. This is something I would not usually say if I'm not comfortable, but I'm very comfortable with you guys. I'm proud of the work, and I'm excited that, I've been able to channel my worries into art like I've always wanted to do. So as much people that want to see it, man, I'm inviting you to come see this piece. It will be available on A Billion Laughs website. That's their social media handle at A Billion Laugh. So it will be available on their website soon, sometimes in June, I think. But I don't know a lot about it yet. Dami is still keeping me in the dark. He's the executive producer of it.
Nice.
So he doesn't want to tell me much. I don't know why.
So please, all of our listeners should pester Dami's online. We can find it.
Yeah. So
he drops it.
Yeah, they should come and have fun, be open-minded, listen before criticizing. we welcome the criticism too, but at least give us a chance before you say you are wrong or you are blaspheming. Just give us a chance. Give us a chance at least.
Amazing. Desmond, look, man, it's been a delight talking to you.
Man,
and I really hope we can talk to you again, even after you blow, which is momentary. So don't forget about us.
I love you guys. Man, I'm a fan of this podcast, and please keep going as deep as you go. Keep trying to wake our political consciousness. A lot of us do appreciate these things, man.
Super. No, we will try. OEG will try. The rest of us will, will be making jokes.
Yeah.
That's one. Thanks a lot.